We appreciate you watching and listening to The Dead Jeff Show. Please like and subscribe and tune in for more videos.
At no point in this game did I genuinely feel like they have a chance to win this game.
There's enough blame to go around for all of them. And my problem is that's the kind of thing we saw in the first 5 weeks that got everybody so frustrated out here and made everyone think that the Cowboys were done. We cannot revert back to that. So we'll see what this new leadership does with Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark and these guys. We'll see if they just lay down and die, or if they're going to stand up and fight. It's a great day to be alive on the Dead Jeff Show. I'm Jeff. He's Nick. And we're recording this episode right after the Cowboys debacle on Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. And sometimes, man, it's just really, really hard to like or love this Dallas Cowboy team. And it's enough to make you just want to, if I had hair, I'd pull it out, right? Because it's unbelievable, man. I'm getting fired up because it's just, I don't want to fake Skip Bayless this anger, but man, it's a rage burning in my soul because I got sucked in by the hope. I got sucked in about we're turning it around, and I guess, at least we had a few weeks of glory to cheer. Listen, this is a safe place, Cowboys Nation, and it is hard to like this team on some weeks, especially when we see repeat things over and over again. And we'll get into that. But Nick, let's just talk your initial reactions. Just your initial reactions.
Yeah, for me, it's going to be really hard not to go back to, I kept saying as the trade deadline passed that the defense looked better. I openly questioned, as a lot of people did, the Raiders offense. What are they? The Eagles offense. What are they? Kind of at times they come and go. I don't think anyone was really questioning the Chiefs offense for the most part, but it felt like timely stops. It felt like there was some stuff, some penalties there. There may have been a couple of questionable calls. All that to say, the immediate reaction is just this defense, man. It's the thing that I was always the most concerned about. We said they just have to be average. Way your offense plays, offense puts up 30 points. You figure just hold them to 27, you got a shot. And the defense and really the special teams, I think something that hopefully gets talked about a lot, but man, the kick returns for Detroit, I think also really, really hurt.
Yeah,
I just had it here.
Kickoff coverage was awful.
Yeah, the kickoff
it was just
coverage,
awful.
Yeah, 8 for 261, 8 returns for 261 yards.
It's unbelievable, man. I mean, it really is. I guess when the Cowboys mess it up, they mess it up big time, and I think for me, the interesting thing, though, about the way this game started was that your defense got 2 stops in the first 4 drives for the Lions. And the Lions did help us out there, but didn't get another stop until that blocked field goal or deflected field goal in the second half. So just unable to get off the field. And to me, the thing that the Maestro and I were talking about in the game, how many times was it 1st and 15, 1st and 20, and the second down would be a huge play for the Lions when, it's like we got them behind the sticks. Now we can get some pressure on them. There was no pressure on Jared Goff at all after that first, stop we got. There was really no pressure all night long. We said in the preview for this game that the key to winning for the Cowboys, they must pressure Jared Goff. He's awful under pressure. And we have to find a way to contain Jahmyr Gibbs. We thought Amon-Ra St. Brown wasn't going to play, but he ends up playing, which to our demise, we wish he didn't. Yeah. So none of that happened for the Cowboys tonight as far as what we said the keys to winning were.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, I think the third down thing becomes a big topic if you can get them to third down. There's so many times Yeah, so many they had 57 plays, only 8 of them were third downs, right? So they're just constantly staying out of those situations. So I think when you and some of those first and longs, the first and 10 or first and 15s, first and 20s are undone by them getting back on schedule because it's a big play and now all of a sudden it's second manageable. But then a couple of times too, it's penalties, right? It's penalties just
Yeah.
essentially giving it right back. So we talked about containing chunk plays against this team and getting pressure. Um, they hit on 8.5 yards per pass. That's the average for the game. So
I think they had 6 or 7 plays over 20 yards
that
on
yeah,
Dallas tonight. And it
right.
it was
And
just a repeat of what we watched the first 5 weeks of the season.
100%. Yeah, and I think the other thing that I would say, and not to belabor the point, but you're leading the guys leading in tackles for this game were all in the secondary. Not usually a good sign. Overshown Ty Bland was 7, but then you had Bell up there and Revel was up there, which they obviously saw something in that because they were picking on him all night.
Well, yeah, they were just really going after him. But listen, I got to say this. So this is a big game. Everybody's been talking about this. If we win this, we have a good chance to to make a playoff push, a real one, right?
Mhm.
How does your offense come out flat in in
Yep.
in the first half? Because your defense actually, like I said, got 2 stops in the first 4 drives, and we were awful on offense. And that was disappointing knowing, guys, I know, Dak, when you look at his stats, they don't look awful, but Nate Thomas, what probably his worst game as a Cowboy on the
Mhm.
offensive line. Dak was pressured over 30% of the time he dropped back tonight, I believe, and maybe it got worse towards the end. But your offense comes out flat. Your defense is okay in the first few moments of this game. And you hold them to a field goal on the first drive, right? You get them off the field on the
Mhm.
second drive, and we can't capitalize. And that's really the offense coming out flat.
Yeah, and even saying that, right? Like even saying the offense comes out flat, the defense at least puts up a little bit of a fight early, although they still give up 10 points in the first quarter. Right before the game started, we were texting and I said they can't start slow here. They've started slow. They've had rocky starts, certainly against Philly, down 21-0. And then even really against KC, it's the pick on the first drive. So I said they can't come out flat. If they come out flat, especially against Detroit, I almost wish Detroit had played better coming into this game, just because they felt desperate also, and it felt like they were just the team that wanted it more. And
Yeah.
and not to say that it's bad coaching or that the Cowboys weren't prepared, but it just felt like Detroit understood the magnitude of the game, right? They were basically in the exact same situation that we were in. If you win, your playoff odds dramatically increase. If you lose, they essentially become you can still get in, but you need a whole lot of help. So I don't think that the offense came out with that same sense of urgency. I understand the commitment to the run. I understand the idea of wanting to stay balanced, and play action is so much of what Dallas does and does very well. Um, but it just felt a little flat to come out in a game that you just absolutely had to have.
Well, the first drive, the defense did give up 10 in the first, but it should have been more, honestly. But they bowed up on the first drive and they held them. On second down there, they got a 2 yard loss for Gibbs as Araku made a good play. Then on 3rd and 8, we got a sack on Goff. Houston got the sack and held him to a field goal, right?
Mhm.
And then we go down and Aubrey, the A bomb, kicks a 57-yard field goal. You're like, okay, it's 3-3, right? Then we force him to a 3-and-out, right? And we get the ball 3-3. And then what do? 3-and-out, right? And that's where Dak got sacked at the goal line. They pinned us deep. We thought it was a safety, for a second. But it wasn't. It might have been better if it was, honestly, that if it was a safety and we're kicking it deeper to them. But the way our kickoff coverage went, who knows, right?
Right.
And then they come out and score that touchdown, right? And so, I made a note on after the third drive is our kickoff coverage is just awful, and it got worse as the night went on. So, it's the Cowboys stay in it. They get another field goal. It's 10-6. We're not feeling terrible, and then Detroit goes down and scores again and takes a 17-6 lead. And you say, hey, well, if we can get points going into the half, and then get the double dip, get a touchdown coming out of the halftime, then we're right back in it. Well, we get the field goal, and then the defense gives up a field goal to Detroit to nullify the field goal we got. So at halftime, it's 20-9. Did you think it was over at halftime?
Yeah, I did, honestly.
Yeah.
It just felt like, unlike Philly, the commitment to the run, and not even necessarily the run. Let me rephrase that. The commitment to utilizing Jahmyr Gibbs was always going to mean that Detroit wasn't going to get blanked. I don't think that was ever a thought. So yeah, 20-9, I really felt like it was extremely little chance that Dallas was going to be able to win this game.
Well, and then, if you thought that coming right out of halftime, it's an incredible situation where the pass to Pickens was slightly deflected and popped up, interception. They score another touchdown after that. It's 27-9, and then I think we both thought it was over at that point. But the Cowboys do what they do. They give us a little bit of hope. They fight back. They claw back in the game. The offense wakes up, and they get it to a 30-27 game. It's unreal, right? They come back, and it's 30-27. Did you ever have a thought that your defense was going to get a stop at this point? It's 30-27. I never thought they would get a stop.
No, even when it was 30-27, I thought this is the only shot that we had at that point, from my perspective, was that we would have the ball last with the chance to win the game with a touchdown.
Right.
But no, I mean, to be totally honest, at no point in this game did I genuinely feel like they have a chance to win this game. Once, from halftime on, let's just, from the first drive after the half interception,
right,
never felt like Dallas was a legitimate chance to win this game.
Yeah, and I'll say this: I did think when it was 30-27, if we could hold them to a field goal, we would have a chance, to go down and score and possibly win the game. But that all went out the window when they got a great run back again and start at the 41 right after we make it 30-27. Kind of takes all the wind out of the sails. Then we had ill-timed penalties, self-inflicted wounds we'll get into all that. But gosh, this team is so frustrating, man. It's just like one step forward, two steps back. One step forward, two steps back. It's been that kind of repeat pattern for this Dallas Cowboys team. It seems like for 30 years, but more realistically for the last 5 years.
Yeah. I think the thing that Shoddy and even this version of Dak makes you feel like they're never it's not the same. It just doesn't feel like they're ever out of it. It even in the rough start, we kept saying that the offense is good, it's the defense, it's the defense, it's the defense. Dak and Shoddy and the offense seem to be really, really good. And to be totally honest, if you look at Dak's numbers, you look at the 30 points, it's hard to say that this was bad. It's hard to say that
sheet stuff for Dak.
I mean,
he had to throw every fourth quarter play was a throw, except for maybe a few. So, stats are stats. I mean, I don't think Dak played horrible because he's under pressure most of the night, but he didn't play his A game, and that's what we needed tonight. We needed somebody to play an A game because Pickens was missing for a while. Quinnen Williams, I don't even know what that was tonight. I don't even know if they called his name once for making a play, and that's the first time we've said that about Quinnen. So maybe we'll give him a pass, but I don't want to because this is the biggest game. You got rescued from the Jets, the awful, godforsaken Jets. You get reprieve. You get to come to the Cowboys. You've now in the midst of a win streak. Come on, man, make a play. And I don't know. Listen, I don't know whose idea it was to have Bell cover Jameson Williams.
Yep.
I don't know. I just, to me, it are we back on fire Eberflus? What do you think? Is it time to get back the picket signs out that say fire Eberflus? What do you think?
Well, just for the record, I was never off the fire Eberflus thing. But what I said was, if they keep playing like this, then how can you? And
Right.
and I stick by that, right? Like if you're going to
Hmm.
be that improved, you certainly can't honestly fire the guy. But what I said, and I think you were parroting this, is this defense is going to play better enough that he's
Hmm.
going to hang on to the job, and that it was a scary proposition, right? Because this is, it's not been a lot of elite offenses, that they've seen, and they won't see very many more elite offenses, especially depending on the injuries to Herbert and to Jaden Daniels in Washington. So there's a good to great chance that they end the season winning these last 4 games and giving
Hmm.
up 17 to 20 a game, and um, so I still firmly am in the camp of fire Eberflus. Don't like him as a DC. Um, and without knowing how many double teams Quinnen Williams saw, what I would say is either Quinnen wasn't doing a good enough job getting pressure, or if he was getting double teams, meaning these other guys should have been freed up, we might need to start looking at how important Jadeveon Clowney actually is, because not having him seemed to really, really hurt.
Yeah, as we said before, there's no pressure on Goff most of the night. Early on, we got a sack, we got some pressure, but it was non-existent for most of the game. And so I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how many times Eberflus actually blitzed, because what we know is this secondary is not good enough to cover very long.
Right.
And the thing is, for the Lions' benefit, we weren't covering him much at all, especially running across the field wide open. I mean, I thought our Cowboys defense was slow, but tonight they looked really slow against
Yeah.
the speed of the Detroit Lions. So, I mean, this is where you have to scheme some things, right? This is where you have to change, and adapt. And poor Revel, he's played good up into this game, and then they just went after him, right? And Bland got juked out a few times, and I don't blame it. That's Jameer Gibbs, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a juke machine. But man, we needed somebody on the defense to make a play. And I think, none of us had faith that they were going to do that tonight.
No, and I don't see how you can. I think the thing with Jameer Gibbs is the thing that I, tip your hat to Dan Campbell and the Lions offense, because Dallas obviously said, "Look, we're not going to let you, Jameer Gibbs, beat us running the ball. 12 carries, 43 yards, 3.6 per. We'll take that any team in the league." You look up and hold Jameer Gibbs to 3.6 carrying the ball. It's like this huge win. The problem is he caught 7 passes for 77 yards, and a lot of
Yeah.
times it was 8, 9 yards deep before anyone even has a chance to tackle him, and he's normally, causing the first person to miss. Um,
Well, and I'd be honest with you, we're lucky they didn't commit to the run, because when they brought Montgomery in, he was just a battering ram. He had a nice 35-yard touchdown run. But Gibbs, he's gifted as a receiver. And
yep.
it's almost like we didn't prepare for him as a receiver. And we didn't have a good plan. Now, to be honest with you, him as a rusher, um, I would say, okay, we'll give you credit for that, Dallas. But Montgomery came in and hammered us, and it doesn't matter. Why would you run the ball if you can get the ball off in 2 seconds and you're getting 15, 20-yard plays? I think they got 6 plays over 20 yards tonight.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. And even to say that, like, yes, they held Jameer Gibbs in check, but David Montgomery, and your point exactly, we're lucky they didn't run more. Montgomery was 6 for 60 and 10 yards a carry. As a team, 22 carries for 109 yards. So as a team, they still had 5 yards a carry. That's extremely good. And ultimately, had they committed to the run more, they only rushed the ball with the running backs 18 times in a game that they won by 2 touchdowns. So they really could have run the ball 25 times had they chosen to. Um, but
Well,
Dan Campbell's aggressive, and he wanted to
yeah.
throw the ball late. I thought it was smart play calling in that fourth quarter on that last drive.
Oh, yeah.
Um, Eberflus and them weren't ready for it, selling out on the run and give them one-on-one coverage with a guy that they can't cover.
I mean, has Dan Campbell not showed you how aggressive he is in his history of coaching? In his history of play calling, has he not shown you how aggressive he is? How could you not be ready for that? How could you? I mean, that's where we get into coaching and scheme and understanding situations and tendencies of your opponents. And I think that that's something that you know is is debatable with Eberflus. It maybe not even debatable. It's just awful with him. And I think I never got off the fire Eberflus bandwagon either, but they were improving. And I don't want to overreact to one game against a top of the league offense. I mean, we have to keep it in check here, but this is my problem. You know that this is the game that can put you in a very good playoff position. And nobody on that defense has enough guts to step up and make a play when you need it. There's 3, 4, 5, 6 chances to step up and make a play. And nobody did it. Nobody did. And it's whether you want to blame the offensive or the defensive line, the linebackers, the secondary, there's enough blame to go around for all of them. And my problem is that's the kind of thing we saw in the first 5 weeks that got everybody so frustrated out here and made everyone think that the Cowboys were done. We cannot revert back to that. So we'll see what this new leadership does with Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark and these guys. We'll see if they just lay down and die, or if they're going to stand up and fight, because they didn't in this game, and that was embarrassing to me because I wasn't expecting that. I thought we were done with that. I thought that was last year's team and previous year's teams. I thought we were done. I thought we turned the page, and here we are, same chapter, same verse, same song.
Yeah, and I think I guess my only counter thought to that would be, unfortunately, as much hope as I had, I always worried that this particular thing would poke its head again and again. If you just talk about what the Lions offense is, this is a top 5 offense in every measurable statistic, period. If you look at scoring offense, if you look at yards, rushing, passing, total, all of it says the Lions are a top 5 offense. So was the expectation ever that you were going to, shut them down? Like, probably not. But you had to have a game where you could get timely turnovers, where you could put, again, like we've said, put pressure on Goff and just do something out of the ordinary, sitting back in zone, committing to the run defense, and trying to be safe. Just was never going to get it done. And it seemed like that was a game plan, and it seemed like they didn't really pivot much in that game plan.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, finish.
The expectation was Dak and the offense score 75% of the time that you get the ball. That's how we can potentially win the game.
Yeah. Well, I think that I could have completed some of those passes with as much time as Goff had.
Right.
I mean, he is awful under pressure. We talked about this. If you get pressure on him, he folds like a cheap tent. So, but we couldn't even get close most of the night, and that's where we lost the wars in the trenches.
Trenches, yep.
We lost the trenches on both sides of the ball, and our offensive line was porous. Our defensive line was thwarted at every turn after those first few drives, and it's just frustrating because we were building on something here. Now, I've been guilty on this podcast of talking about people overreacting, but man, this is the most frustrating. Your for Thursday night prime time. Let's show up. Let's get the deal done. I mean, the game was there for us. It's not like they were running away with the game, And so if we just got normal stuff from our offense in the first half, maybe it's a different story. But you're going to have to score 50 to win this game because your defense gave up 44 points. And now I know that Dak threw a bad pick and helped them get a touchdown. So maybe it's just 37 that they gave up, but that's still awful.
Well, I'm going to challenge that just a little bit. I don't think Dak threw a bad pick. I think Pickens ran a soft route because that's a play that they've killed everybody else on, for basically the entire season.
Yeah, but the linebacker's sitting right there for the slant. He's coming right at the linebacker, and the defensive back does get a hand in to knock the ball away. What I'm saying, you don't throw that ball there. I mean, that's a tight window to get it in. Now, all year long, we've had the slant, but it's been wide open. No one's really taken it away from us. But you had Barnes sitting right there, waiting on him to catch. He was going to clean his clock if he caught that thing, right? And so I agree. It wasn't awful throw, maybe bad read.
Maybe. Again, I just think he obviously trusts Pickens there. He threw it a couple more times at other points in the game, where Pickens had the face mask.
Yep.
That was the exact same route, the exact same coverage, the same look, super super tight, linebacker over the center. He threw it there. He threw it again late to Flanoy. So I hear you, but Dak does throw in tight windows. And then the last pick, obviously, he's under pressure. You got to try and make a play there. It is what it is. The
Yeah,
only
I'm
issue
not
I
putting it
had,
on. Go ahead.
the only issue I had with Dak tonight was the deep ball. I thought his deep ball accuracy was horrendous. There was a couple of chances that, the play where CD gets hurt. There was one to Pickens on the left side that if you just give them a chance, they probably come up with those plays. Outside of that, though, I thought Dak played extremely well. I was very, very happy with his play, outside of the deep ball.
Yeah, you can't put it on Dak, but those deep balls were atrocious. I
Yeah,
mean, one of them got CD Lamb concussed because he tried to make a contorted catch
right.
and just hit the ground. Earlier, I mean, not earlier, later he missed Pickens wide open, streaking down the field. It wasn't even close. He threw it back towards the middle of the field. Yeah,
Yep,
something was off with the deep ball, but man, when you're getting pressured a lot, it's probably got a lot to do with that. So
I'm sure.
the game's not on Dak. I'm just saying that coming out of halftime when you need something, it looked like they made up their mind at halftime. We're going to go to our bread and butter play. We're going to throw the slant.
Uh-huh.
Uh, you know, whatever the defense shows me, I'm throwing this slant to Pickens, and we're gonna move this ball. And that's what I'm saying with that play. It's
Yeah,
like that's maybe one that you should read differently. And sometimes the defense makes a great play. I'll give you that. But to me, we just can't turn the ball over in that situation, knowing it's 20-9, and if we score here, we're back in the game.
yeah. And I think that's probably situational awareness is probably the biggest conversation
Mhm.
there. Also, the desire to continue to put Dak and even like Ferguson in these tight contested catch situations where now there's a late call on Ferguson that I'm sure will get a ton of coverage about the offensive pass interference where I mean there's nothing
That's
there.
ridiculous.
There is
Yeah.
nothing there whatsoever. Um, but again, you keep putting these guys in these positions where all season long you've kind of gotten the benefit of those calls. And rightfully so, right? He
Yeah.
he pulls them, he twists them. It's a DPI. At the very least, it's a no call, but it really was a DPI. Um, so when you are relying on these circumstances over and over and over again, eventually law of averages says it's going to tip the other direction, even if wrongfully so. And again, the offense has to be perfect for you to win games, and that's just not going to work. Which you know, seen the cracks in the armor of Pickens. Pickens has looked phenomenal all year. There were multiple plays, and I can't wait to get into the replay and watch some of the film because it felt like he is jogging on some of these plays, and some of these plays where he's being targeted, it feels like he is not coming out hard after the ball.
Yeah. This is the kind of the rap he had in Pittsburgh, right? And maybe he's not coming across hard enough. It looks like on one route he stopped a little short, and if he keeps coming, he probably catches it. He wasn't attacking the ball tonight, and I don't really understand why. But maybe this is just one of those games. But he's earned a little reprieve, I guess, with the way he's played this year. But listen, I told you I'm a CD Lamb guy, and I would always take him over Pickens. But Pickens has been balling this year, and I guess he gets some benefit of the doubt. But where Flournoy stepped up big time again when CD went down. And that was impressive. And you're looking for somebody to make a play, and again, Flournoy gets a busted coverage and scores a touchdown. But he played well tonight.
Yeah, 9 for 115 and a touchdown on 13 targets. Um, I've been saying it. I've been a proponent of it. I've gotten killed in the comments for it over and over again. Not that I don't think Pickens is really good. I think he is. But the price tag on that guy for what he's having to do, if you're going to tell me that Flournoy can have even remotely that kind of success with Ferguson, go spend a second day pick or a second round pick on a receiver. I don't want the $65 million in the receiver room because of exactly what we're talking about. It's just not enough help on defense.
Well, I think we've kind of beaten that topic to death over the last few weeks as far as um, Pickens and signing him, not signing him, and well, now that he's playing like this, do you kind of have to sign him? I believe that's the way they're still thinking, and it's just one game, so we'll have to see if CD misses any time and if Pickens bounces back to form. But here's what I want to say about the defensive subject is when you upgrade your talent, right? And then you see speed like the Detroit Lions, it makes you feel like we haven't really come far at all, and that's the troubling thing is how could Ezeraku, Osa, Quinnen, Clark, how could they all have a bad game? And we haven't had a chance to look at the film. This is right after the game, so this is our immediate reaction. We'll take a deeper dive into what we see there, but nobody can get through their line, through that trench to get to Goff, and the Lions had a good game plan. They were getting rid of the ball quickly. They were,
Mm-hmm.
and they could because their receivers were running wide open a lot of times.
Yeah.
So the defensive thing is just a mystery that they just basically got out physical tonight and got ran by, not necessarily ran over, but the speed was
Mm-hmm.
evident. We didn't win the war in the trenches. Couldn't get pressure on Goff. He had pick of receivers to throw on most downs, and that's not a recipe for success for Dallas.
Yeah, no, it's really not. And I think if you're the Cowboys, it kind of now it just all the hope that you want to have as a Cowboys fan to make the playoffs, to be a competitive team, to have these games at the end of the season really matter. I'm not suggesting they don't. The problem is it's not all that matters anymore. Now you have to go
Yeah.
watch, and you already did to some degree, I suppose, but it felt a lot better knowing that you could watch the Niners and the Seahawks and the
Mhm.
Bears and the Eagles. Now you got to watch the Eagles. That's it. The only shot you got here
That's
now
right.
is watching the Eagles. And
And you got a
you got to
9%
hope.
chance of that happening.
That's right. And look, it's really simple. This is very, very simple. You have to win out, and the Eagles can't win more than 2 games.
They got to lose 3.
That's right. They have to lose 3. If they
That's right.
win 3, it's over. So the only shot you have now is Eagles lose 3, you win out. That's it. It's pretty simple.
Well, let me ask you this because there were a lot of self-inflicted wounds today. And we've talked about this many, many times in the past. We get an awesome defensive pass interference. It's negated by Ferguson's hands to the face,
Mhm.
right? We've got um, other self-inflicted ill-timed penalties. We've got you know defensive backs getting juked. We've got wide open receivers running across the lane, and they talked to Schottenheimer at halftime, and he talks about we just got to execute better. We're not executing. Is there any issue with Schottenheimer in this game with you?
I don't think there is, and I'm only saying that because I feel like he's earned the benefit of the doubt. Now, I will say there are a couple of things there where it just didn't feel like there was a huge sense of urgency. Again, the Ferguson hands to the face penalty, they're 7 yards away from Dak. Hutchinson, it's really not even close. It's not even in the play. The one that really, really upset me and got me going was George Pickens, the rub route where he gets hit with the OPI,
Yeah,
like, and
that was a
on
big
that
one.
route, yeah, when you know that that's the scheme and it was, drawn up perfectly, it's a really, really great play call. What I always love to see, and Kansas City's great at this, Philly's really good at this, is instead of trying to run that route up the field, just stop and sit on the ball. Like stop and come back to the ball, and you're not running through the DB then. You're just creating
Yeah,
this natural barrier. Um, Certainly we've seen them do that other times this year. So again, just goes back to the Pickens being a little lazy, Pickens not paying attention, whatever the case may be. So no, I'm not going to give it all. I'm not going to put a ton of it on Shoddy. I do think it's the timely penalties that kill you. You hate to see it at any point in the game, especially third downs, getting off the field, or you have a big play, and now all of a sudden we have to give the ball back, or now we have to go do third down all over again.
yeah,
Cowboys had 7 for 76, the Lions had 8 for 50. On paper, that's not going to kill you. It's when the penalties occur that
that's right.
always seem to be the problem.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's ill-timed. It's always at the worst possible time. And this team, in the last few weeks has shown they can be more disciplined. They're still the third most penalized team in
Right.
the league, I believe, something like that.
That's right. That's right.
So if we could, just cut it down by a few, and the timing of them, like you said, is it's just devastating. It's not just it's not like Detroit. Oh, they're going to get a holding. It's 1st and 20. That's okay. We'll get 17 yards on second down and or a first down on that. And it's just we can't overcome that stuff, as easy as they can as far as our defense, getting off the field.
Right.
It's usually the defense that's committing a lot of these penalties, just to be honest with you. But the
Hmm.
Pickens thing, look, I've been begging the Cowboys to run rub plays for 8 years. It's like they're way late with this, right? The Patriots used to run the heck out of these and never get called for offensive pass interference, very rarely. All the good teams, in the 2000s, 2010s were running these plays. Cowboys would never run them, and maybe
Right.
we know why. It's because we could, just like a screen pass. We can't seem to ever execute a screen pass consistently. It's like
Yeah.
we have the worst screen game, and we have the worst rub routes ever in the history of football, and not necessarily this year, but just in the history of the organization. And
Yeah.
it's frustrating. Because, like I said, it's one step forward, two steps back. But this is our fault, Nick. This is our fault. We said the formula was they give us a little hope,
Yeah.
and then they suck us back in, and they break our hearts, right?
Yeah.
And we
Yep.
buy in, and we buy in, and we believe. But that's what being a fan is, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. And I mean, I think that's the sad thing is, as I'm sitting here right now, it's 11:30 after the game, but so the game ended about 45 minutes, an hour ago. There's still 9% of me that thinks they're going to make the playoffs.
Don't say
I'm
it,
not.
Nick.
I
Nick,
I know, but it's what I'm feeling,
don't
man.
do it, buddy. Now, if the Eagles lose this week, okay, we've lost nothing, right? So,
Right. You're
but
just right where you started.
I can't do it, man. My heart can't take it. I love this team. My sons are already disowned the Cowboys, and they even, I think, sucked him in a little bit. He was starting to believe a little bit in the magic, but my point is, I can't let them suck me back in. I can't do it. The defense is going to
So
have
your
to.
team tank.
No, I can't. I can't. I smart thing to do would be get a higher draft pick, right? Because they're
Yeah.
not. What's going to happen if they get in the playoffs? They could win it all, or they could go out first round, right? It's kind of
Right.
it's kind of that thing. It's just goofy, and this year has
Right.
been goofy in the NFL, so we don't know what can happen. I'm not burying the Cowboys yet, because as long as you're breathing, you got a chance. But
Yep.
I'm going to be very reluctant. And I said I didn't feel good about this game when I predicted the score. Said I don't feel good about this. And the reason I didn't was because of Jahmyr Gibbs, the speed, and I
Yep.
know what David Montgomery's done to us in the past, the thunder and lightning combo. But I
It's,
thought we could get to Jared Goff. I thought we could pressure him, right? And but we didn't. So I just can't do it, man. It's like I'm doubting Thomas right now. I'm gonna have to feel the nail scarred hands of Jesus before I get sucked back in with the Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? And to
yeah.
me,
Yeah.
I just can't let myself get there again.
Well, I wish I could go there with you. But yeah, I'm just looking at the schedules, looking at kind of where this is all at. I also want to correct you one play. You said Thunder and Lightning. It's Sonic and Knuckles is what they got in Detroit. But
Hey man,
that notwithstanding, hey, I'm just letting you know. That notwithstanding, I do think just because Philly looks, I think it's more the wishful thinking that as bad as things are going for Dallas, even if Dallas makes the playoffs, you get a slightly lower pick, you lose in the first round, that will mean that Philly will have just laid an absolute egg, and getting to watch that happen is probably worth,
well, that's true.
not being optimal for next year. So maybe that's where the hope is. Maybe the hope is less about the Cowboys and more about watching the Eagles fan base suffer just as much as we are.
Well, I mean, that's true. It's fun to watch the Eagles suffer. And
Yeah.
the problem is that they seem to find a way to win. In the midst of they
Yeah.
pull victory out of the jaws of defeat. But for
Yeah.
me, I'm gonna have to see it. I'm not buying in. Ken, I've said they weren't going to make the playoffs. You said they were. It's much more
Yep.
difficult now. But where
Oh, wait.
where do
Yep.
we go from here? I'm concerned about Pickens. I'm concerned about does this send him in a tailspin back to Pittsburgh, Pickens? Or does he snap out of it? Is the leadership strong enough on this team to snap him out of it? Do you think um I mean, are you calling Pickens out on this podcast, Nick? I mean, what do you think? Where do we go from here with Pickens?
Yeah, I think Pickens is the next game is going to be really, really important for him because if he comes out and looks anything like what he looked like tonight, it's going to become an extremely difficult, you know, if you tell me you're this person, it's the bad girlfriend, it's the bad friend that does enough stuff to disappoint you, and then they go on like a 6 month, 6 week, I'm going to be the greatest person you've ever seen. But then they go back to that old person, right? So I feel like we've got this, great 12 or 13 weeks of Pickens that has looked great and looked wonderful. Meanwhile, in the back of my mind, I know what he was in Pittsburgh. And there have been a lot of receivers that have struggled in Pittsburgh. So maybe we give him benefit of the doubt. But if he comes out, and again, especially if once we start getting some of this film, because it's always worse when you see it. Right now, we feel it. I feel like he didn't play hard. I feel like he wasn't coming back to the ball. The more plays that we go and look at and see it, I think the more this is going to feel worse. And that game Sunday night against Minnesota, if he's not running hard again, that's going to feel really, really bad. So right now, yeah, I'm calling him out for the effort from what
Mhm.
I'm feeling. And I hope that this is a one-off thing, but the fact that you're in a contract year, you've had everything in the world given to you. Everybody is singing your praises. People are calling you the best receiver in the league, and you come out and lay an egg like that. Would Jerry Rice ever do it? Would Jefferson do it? I just go down all the lists. It feels bad.
No, it does. But here's the question. I mean, how many defensive backs were hurt for Detroit? And
Yeah, they
when when CD was in the game, he was drawing their best defensive back, right?
right,
So, um, Pickens, you got to find a way to get open against one and two people,
hmm
right? You got to find a way to get open, and maybe it's the what they said in Pittsburgh. If they double team him, he's not even going to try very hard, right?
right,
I really don't want to go there and bury Pickens yet, because of he's earned the right to play out of this, I think. But this is what we talked about with the danger of signing him is, are you going to get this year's contract year Pickens? Or are you going to get
yep,
what he's always been? And, when people get money, it does funny things to them. And I hope that's not the case for Pickens because I really feel like he has a chance to even elevate his game from here. Now,
yeah,
if CD doesn't play next week, um, you still should beat Minnesota, right?
for sure, for sure.
And and if they lose that, oh my gosh, oh, the sky will be falling again in Dallas. But to me, I can't bury Pickens yet. My I do think he has to bounce back next week, and it'll quickly go away, much like CD's drops against the Eagles.
Right.
If
Right. 100%.
if you come back and ball out, like he did against the Chiefs, if Pickens comes back and balls out against the Vikings, and then again the following week, no one's going to remember that. Hopefully, CD will clear concussion protocol and he's okay, and we have him going into the Minnesota game. But the most important thing is that he gets healthy. Um, but I'm not. I'm gonna stick by what I said. I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs. They're probably gonna miss by one game, and that's gonna make it even more frustrating. Is because they were right there, and if they just take care of business like they're supposed to do against the Cardinals, that's probably what's going
Yeah.
to keep them out of the playoffs, and it's going to make me pissed off all offseason about it because you had a chance, right? And we talked about them wasting Tony Romo years. They're
Mhm.
wasting Dak's years now,
Yep.
and hopefully that we're playing the Vikings, so the defense should bounce back. Um, Jefferson is a threat, right? We know that, but who's going to throw it to him? Is McCarthy playing, or is it Broman or whatever his name is?
Yeah. Yeah. So hard. I mean,
Brosmer,
obviously,
brother
yeah, we
man,
got,
whatever his name is.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's yeah, I have no idea what his name is, to be totally honest with you. Let's see
That's the
here.
midnight clock striking here. It's like the fatigue.
McCarthy is set to return this weekend. So
Okay,
we're getting McCarthy, and it's Brosmer. Brosmer. Brosmer.
Brosmer, not Broman. Okay, hey man, you still should beat McCarthy. Um,
Yes, you should. You
but
definitely should.
the wind's out of my sails. I'm just telling you, it's just so frustrating, and I let them do it to me again. And I said I wouldn't. I wouldn't, but I did. And like you said, a couple days from now, I'll probably be going, it's still possible. And I hate that about myself. That's what
Yeah.
fans do. We want to believe in the positivity. We want to stay positive. We want to reject the negativity. We want to cling on to that hope because it makes the season more fun, more interesting. But guys, it just doesn't look good right now. And with all these reinforcements that came in on the defense, Overshown's the only one that statistically played well. Now we have to watch the film to see if Quinnen, what happened to Quinnen.
Right.
I don't know what happened to Logan Wilson tonight. If how many snaps he played,
It
but
wasn't a lot. I just saw it. It was very
yeah.
little.
So it's the secondaries stunk. We didn't blitz much from my understanding. If we did, we didn't get home much at all.
Yep.
So Cowboys lose 44-30, and man, I couldn't be more depressed about that because this was the swing game, and we swung and missed. So I don't even know what to do. I mean, I really don't, because we don't normally record right after the game, and it's just kind of depressing. It's just kind of depressing because it's you know starting a podcast and talking about the Cowboys during the game, you get text from people like, "Hey, you should talk about this, and you should." And everybody's a producer now. It's like, why don't you talk about this? Why don't you talk about that? And you're just like, man, I'm sitting here charting plays, and I'm like, I just sometimes I feel I just want to watch the game, right?
Yeah.
I just want to watch the game, but man, there's so many things that upon further review that we probably should talk about, but because I'm so frustrated, I'm not bringing them up right now, but there'll
Yeah.
be time.
Yeah. Yeah.
There'll be time. And you had a Knicks pick on this game, didn't you?
Yeah. I had Dallas winning the game.
Uh-oh. Your week
Yeah.
started off rough.
So it's a 0-1 start. It's not
Did you have
great.
the over at least? Did you
No,
go
no, no, no.
over
I
on this
didn't.
game? Oh,
Yeah, I didn't bet the over. I definitely would have taken the over, but I didn't bet
yeah.
the over. But yeah, I mean, it's difficult to even see how a lot of these a lot of these guys on the defensive side of the ball,
Mm.
um, you know, I hope if we're not going to make the playoffs, because I still think that we're going to, but if we're not going to make the playoffs,
You still think
I
we're
hope.
going to?
Yeah, I
Nick,
really do. I really do.
Nick, come on, man. I
Yeah.
What makes you think they're okay? So they win out. You
Yeah.
think Philly's losing 3 games?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, name who they going to lose to. Let's call it right now, because man, I'm not. I
Buffalo,
can't let you talk me into this. All right,
Buffalo,
Buffalo. Yeah,
the Commanders once. They won't
you
get them
think the
both times.
Commanders are going to beat them?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
because I think Daniels will be playing by then, right? Like I think
okay.
they're
What
not going to
about the
have Daniels.
Chargers?
That's the one that I'm hopeful for, but it's going to come down to Herbert. Like that's the one that I hope that if her because Hampton's back. Hampton's playing this week. They've already said that.
Whoopity do.
So
What's Hampton been all this year?
well,
Injured.
he's only
Not.
played like 4 games. Yeah.
That's my point.
Well,
It's like the first game
but
back,
when
you
he
can't expect much from him.
well, I feel like because of how long he's been out, that they were very cautious with him. I feel like he's gonna come back pretty close to 100%. I don't know that there's gonna be a lot of rust for a rookie running back. I think
Okay,
he's gonna
hold on a
come
minute.
in and
Are you serious?
Mhm.
Do you really think the Eagles are going to lose 3 games?
Yeah, I really do.
You really do. You really think that they're going to lose this week to the Chargers, lose to the Bills, and lose to the Commanders.
One of the 2 games, yeah.
And
I'll say
with
this. I'll say
that,
this. I'm more confident in Philly losing 3 than I am in Dallas winning 4.
then you shouldn't put this team in the playoffs if you think that way. That's crazy
No,
talk. So
but
if
that's just
Philly can lose 3, we'll probably lose another one, and then they're going to have to lose 4. I mean, come on, man.
yeah.
I'm wondering if you might have been concussed during that game.
No.
Do we need
No.
you to go through concussion protocol? Because this team has just, on the biggest stage, the biggest game of the year, after winning 3 games and 2 of them pretty big games, just reverted back to what we thought that they had come past, right?
Yeah.
And you're sitting here telling me that you believe they're still going to the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah. I do. 100%. The
To-
biggest issue Dallas has is obviously with elite offenses. As good as the Chargers are, they are not an elite offense. And
okay.
certainly the other games on their schedule are not elite offense. We know that. So
No, they're not.
again, I say that I'm more confident in Philly losing 3 than I am in Dallas winning 4 because that's how confident I am in Philly losing 3.
Well, but you just said if Philly loses 3, you're not even sure that Dallas will make the playoffs, that they're going to win out, but they have to.
No. Yeah. It's not what I'm saying.
You can't say they're going to make the playoffs, but you're not very confident they're going to run the table.
Let me say it this
They
way.
have to.
I'm 100% confident Philly will lose 3 games. I'm 95% confident Dallas will win 4. I'm still very sure Dallas is going to win 4. I'm just
Okay.
more confident that Philly's going to trip up here.
Listen,
I don't trust
I,
Philly. I don't trust Philly at all.
I don't think we got the baseline concussion test for you before we started this podcast, but this is either concussion, whiplash, or I don't know, maybe it's grogginess because you've been up since 4:30 this morning. I don't understand how after watching what you just saw, you can say they're
But what
still
did I just
going to
see?
the playoffs.
Right, but what did we just see? We saw an offense put up 30 points and not play their best game by any stretch of the imagination. This offense did not play their best game. Period.
No,
We
and
agree.
Detroit had backups galore on defense.
Right. And so yet they still scored 30 points, which is more than the season average for them, and they were still in
Right.
a position to win the game. The defense looked horrible against an elite level offense. The Chargers
Nick,
are
you
the
said
best
that you
offense you're going to
yourself
face.
didn't. You said you did not believe that they were going to win that game when it was 30-27. So now you're saying they were in position to win the game.
No.
Which is it?
No. They were never in position to win the game. What I'm saying is that they looked bad on defense against an elite offense. They've
Right.
looked good on defense against mediocre or bad offenses. The rest of the way, you're seeing mediocre and bad offenses. What did you see tonight that was telling? What did you not know? The offense is
Telling?
good. The defense is
I'll
bad
tell you
against
what I
elite
saw.
offenses.
I'll tell you what I saw: the lack of fight from some of the defensive players. I saw a porous offensive line that, people were ripping Guyton and thinking, hey, Nate Thomas is going to be just as good. He was awful tonight. Yes, Chad Hutchinson's playing on that team, but he
Mhm.
wasn't going against Nate Thomas all night, just some of the night. I saw Steele struggle. I saw really a lack of just a flatness. No pressure again. Secondary sucks from the Cowboys. No help from the linebackers. They look slow, slow as me tonight. They did. We hammered Jack Sanborn for his slowness, and they all look slow tonight except Overshone. He fought hard. I will say that. Now look, here the telling part was you have cheated death in this season, and you have the ability to put 2 feet on the ground instead of one in the grave and one on the ground. And you could not get that done. And you got whooped physically in the trenches. You did tonight. You got whooped physically in the trenches.
Yep.
Nothing about that says you're going to win against the Chargers. Or whoever else. Because let me tell you something. You got the Giants and the Commanders, and if they're not in team tank mode, they want to kick your butt. They hate you.
Yeah.
And if you're not ready for those games, you might get clipped by one of them. And
But we know
i.e. the
Dak owns
Cardinals.
the East, though. Dak owns the
Now, he
East, though.
does. He does, but Dak don't play defense. And that's the point I'm trying to make is tonight you scored 30 points against a crappy defense as far as secondary, right? Now the
Right.
defensive line's great.
Right.
The linebackers are good. I understand that, but the secondary was awful. Yeah, and this same offense put 40 on Green Bay, which was good enough for a tie because your defense couldn't hold them to 38, 39.
Right.
So you
Right.
say what's telling? What's telling is this is they reverted back to old tendencies. Your defensive coordinator did not make adjustments, did not adapt. We did not put any pressure on Goff. That's the only way he gets beat. This team gets beat. And one thing that I just totally overlooked going into this game was Detroit hasn't lost back-to-back games in 3 years. Did you know that? They said that on the broadcast. In between Herb Street taking shots at Pickens all night, he threw out that stat that said that the Detroit Lions haven't lost back-to-back games in 3 years. I haven't checked that to be true. I haven't fact-checked that. But that's incredibly something I should have known before I picked this game because for me, the telling sign is this. It's the same old story, man.
Yeah.
It's the same old story.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly why I think Dallas is going to win out because it's the same old story because they're going to beat up on bad teams. The Chargers are the only not bad team they play, and they have a good offense, but not an elite offense. I just
Where was that offense against the
and
Cardinals, man? The Cardinals weren't elite offense. Where was our defense? Where was our offense against the Cardinals? I mean, we're capable of those kinds of games. That's what I'm saying. And we'll see. We'll see. But look,
I think the other thing about the Chargers game is that it's in Dallas, and I think that counts for a lot.
that helps. That does count for a lot.
So
You're right.
So I think for me, again, this team is at this point in the season, and who was the Danny Green, Denny Green, the old Arizona Cardinals
Denny?
coach. We are what the
We
record
crowned
said
him.
we are.
No, that was we are who they thought they were. That's Denny Green.
There you go.
And we let them off the hook.
We let them off the hook. That's right. There you go. The Cowboys are who we know they are. This isn't going to be different. Dak has to play.
That's why I can't believe you're putting them in the playoffs, man. You said they're going to after tonight. You said they're going to the playoffs.
They are.
I don't understand that. Come on, man. Maybe we'd wager on that. You ready? You want to wager on that? You want to put some moral coins on that or some?
Yeah. I'm going to put some moral coin.
Put your hair on it. I don't know. To me, that's. I just don't know how you can because what are you going to say if the Eagles win Monday night? They still going to lose 3?
They got to go, so they'd have to go 1-3 the rest of the way.
I mean, at what point
Yeah.
do you say, yeah, my eyes tell me the truth? My eyes tell me the truth. We bought into the hope. We said we weren't going to do it this year, but we did. They got us.
Yeah, if Philly wins Monday night, uh, in LA, which, we've talked about this, basically a neutral game, then yeah, then we'll, maybe I'll have to
What's
revisit.
the percentage for the Cowboys if Philly wins Monday night? It's 9% now that
Oh,
they get in the playoffs. What is it if
right,
Philly wins? Do you have that?
right. Nah, I can probably pull it real quick.
Not if Philly wins. They'll go. If Philly loses, it'll go up. Right.
Right.
Probably goes to 0. It should go to 0, but it's probably 1 or 2. Well, that's what I'm trying to tell Nick. He keeps putting him in the playoffs. I don't know if he's doing this for the show.
Nah, come on, come on, man.
Well, I
Uh,
told you, Luke's off the Cowboys bandwagon.
so
He's on the Rams.
yeah, well, yeah, he's been there though. I mean, I don't think
That's what I'm saying.
that's not
This
new
whole year,
news.
he's been on the Rams. He forsaken the Cowboys at the end of last year, and now he's a Rams fan, a Devontae Adams fan. Yeah, yeah.
So this is, I guess this is based on like what other teams still do. Also, I'm guessing it says that right now after the loss, Philly has a 95% chance of winning the East. If they win on Monday night, the chances are basically zero that they do. It's not zero. It says extremely slim, but not zero.
So that's
That
a
they
1% chance for the Cowboys.
probably less than 1% is probably what that means.
And you're
If they win
saying
Monday
there's a
night.
chance. That's what you're doing. You're saying there's a chance.
Yeah,
Come on.
I just feel like the sky will fall. This actually, the Monday night game with Philly is probably the sky is falling game, because if Philly loses and now they're in that position,
That's
and
true.
what that
They've
now all
collapsed
of
before.
I remember very well. I know I was just about to bring that up. There was that season where, you know, eh, for everyone in the world to see, Philly was going to win the division and blah, blah. First time the NFC East has repeated in the division and all that kind of good stuff, and then they blew it. So we'll see. Monday night is very big. Uh, Again, hey man, I don't want to feel. I don't want to be this person. I don't want to feel like this. I wish I would just be like bury him and mark the grave. But I think they've got a shot.
But what is
And
it that just because Philly's playing LA and you think that Philly's playing in LA, they're going to implode, just self implode and keep imploding? That's your only hope, right? It's not that you believe that those other teams they're playing are much better than Philly. You just are hoping for an implosion.
no, well, I think the Chargers are probably at just right now the way that they're playing. They put up, in the last. I'm just looking at it now. In the last month, they scored 10 against the Packers, 16 against the Lions,
Yeah,
21 against the Cowboys, 15 against the Bears. They're not scoring points.
the
Like
Eagles aren't.
they're
Yeah.
the Eagles. The Eagles are not scoring points. So I think they're already have kind of imploded offensively. Um, Jim Harbaugh's a good, tough coach. He's always got tough defenses. And again, so now you've lost 3 in a row. The Cowboys just lost. You do nothing to take advantage of that. And I think the sky is just absolutely falling. If they beat the
In Philly.
Raiders, and it's sure in Philly,
The sky's falling
um,
in Philly is what you're
and
saying.
the sky's falling in Philly, right? Absolutely. So
Well, it's
that's
falling
my
here tonight, man. It's falling here tonight. It's like we needed this game to have more than one way to get into the playoffs, but really it's
right
all Philly now. It's all
now.
about
It's
the
all Philly.
division,
Yeah,
and you're going to have to root for their implosion, and you're going to have to hope they get trapped in the upside down. See what I did there, like
yeah,
the Stranger Things. Um,
yeah.
but I just don't. It's not plausible. I have my feet planted firmly on reality, and that way I can't get disappointed again by this team. So if it happens, great. I love it. I'll cheer for it, but I don't expect it to. I don't think it will. And my football brain and my eyes tell me it won't. It was going to take a miracle. It's
hmm
going to take a miracle, and I don't know um, if this team, I don't think they pray enough for that miracle because it's for me. If you could tell me what do I want? Oh, of course I want that to happen. I just don't think it's going to happen. I've got to be realistic here. I'm going to get you checked for a concussion, and we'll let everybody know. This is one time I wish we could take callers like old school. Like, tell us your feelings, Cowboy fans.
Yeah.
Tell us what hurt you the most tonight. Tell it, that kind of stuff. That would be good for tonight. It's
Yeah.
therapeutic, to get it off your chest. So maybe just do it in the comments if you've listened to this. If you're listening to this, the next day, a couple days later, whatever it is, just interact with us in the comments. Do you believe what Nick's telling you, that they're going to make the playoffs and Philly's going to implode and collapse and we're going to win out? Do you believe that? Well, let's hear that. Or do you believe in reality that says it's almost going to take a miracle and say, as much as I'd love it to happen, it's just not going to happen? So I think that's enough on our reaction to this game. I don't even know what to do. We had some other stuff planned. I don't know that I want to get into it. It's late. What do you say, Nick? Do you want to just call it a show? Get into the college football playoff? What do you want to do? Are we doing Nick's picks? What are we doing?
No, it's too early to do Knicks picks. There won't be line set for next week.
Okay.
And yeah, I feel like probably the best thing to do is to just, in this pitiful night, just, it's just so bad.
This
Um,
unofficial Cowboys post game show.
yeah, it's just so bad. I really wanted to just rub in your face how the Spurs are 7-2 without Wemby, and just all the ways the Spurs are so much better
Whoa,
than the
whoa,
Mavericks, and
whoa,
just
whoa.
all the
You
Spurs.
see who got rookie of the month last month, November? His name is Cooper Flagg.
It's
Do
great
you
individual
see?
accolades.
Do
Yeah,
you
it's too
see
bad
what
they're not
this
leading the
guy is
wins.
doing on this
Yeah,
win streak that we're on? We just beat Denver. We just beat Miami. We beat Denver in Denver, by the way.
yeah, we did
And
that too in the NBA Cup.
look out now. Look out now. Because my man Cooper is coming through in the clutch. He's raising his game. And this team with AD back has looked better. And then pretty soon, Kyrie will be coming back. And like I said, this team is going to the play-in. They're going to make it to the play-in after all this nonsense that's happened. And man, wouldn't it be something if they could beat those Spurs? Wouldn't that be something?
The the the,
Wouldn't
the
that be
problem is
something?
it all falls apart with AD because he can't stay healthy. And
Well,
they
maybe
and
we'll trade him.
unlike the Spurs, the Mavericks need AD to win. The
I
Spurs
thought we weren't getting
clearly.
into this.
Hey, I'm
I
just
thought
saying.
we're not
I'm
talking
just
about
saying.
this.
You're,
You know
hey, you're the
that
one
you
you're
see
the one
Cooper
disputing
Flag on the
reality.
rise and you're getting nervous. You're getting nervous. Yeah.
No.
So,
What I know
we'll
is that
talk
for the
more
next 10
Mavericks. We'll
years, the
talk
Spurs are
college.
going to.
What?
That's
Next
what
10
I know is for
years?
the next 10 years. The Spurs for the next 10 years, the Spurs are going to own the Mavericks. That's what I know.
Oh, gosh, man. I think you were concussed because you think your brain's all scrambled right now. So we'll save that for another day. List Cowboy fans, it's been a really tough night for us. And we're just as depressed as you are about it, except Nick. Nick is selling hope. If you want to buy some hope, go see Nick. Make comments to Nick. He's selling hope right now. I don't have anything left to sell you when it comes to hope. I like I said, I can want for the best, but hope ain't entering my vocabulary with this team because they've broken my heart way too many times. Yes, I love them, but some weeks it's really tough to love them, and that's what this week is. So, all right. Well, thank you for joining us on this unofficial post-game show. We appreciate you liking, subscribing, listening, interacting, and all of that. And tell us what you think. Did your heart get broken tonight? Are you done with this team this year? Until next time, be good to each other. Peace.